Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Kelsey Asplin. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and today I'm going to be doing the first in a series of videos that are talking about natural products and supplements. The reason I want to talk about this is because the natural product industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Maybe this isn't surprising to some of you. I feel like every time I get online, every time I'm on Facebook or on Instagram or just searching around for research articles, I'm inundated with ads for the new supplement or the new best thing, new natural product that's going to enhance your life. And so it is a massive industry. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit and to get into some of the facets of the supplement industry. So this first section, this first video, we're going to be talking about why supplements. We're going to be talking about the different kinds of supplements and general categories that I would put them in. And then we'll have some other videos that'll talk about kind of the governance of supplements or the kind of laws around supplements. And then I will also have one dedicated to the consumer aspect of supplements and some of the things to be wary of and to watch out for and how to be really educated about the supplements you're using. So, without further ado, why supplements? A lot of people use supplements today, whether they are getting them through a provider or finding them online or getting them from a health coach or from a fitness coach or just kind of doing their own research about it. A lot of people are using them. And why do people use them? We have a lot of different reasons. Most people, I would say, probably are using them for some kind of enhancement. They're either athletes who are trying to enhance their performance or their ability at the gym. Maybe they're being used by people to enhance their energy at home, to enhance their sleep, to enhance their mood, to enhance their libido. There's all kinds of reasons that people are using these, and oftentimes it's as an enhancement. There are certainly people out there who have this mindset that if they take their supplements, then they can continue to have unhealthy habits in their life. And I would like to squash that right now. You cannot take a multivitamin in spite of having an unhealthy life. Like, you cannot do that. You cannot take a multivitamin and still eat garbage or stress out or not sleep enough and feel good. I mean, you may be able to feel good for a while, but eventually that's going to catch up to you because that's not what health is. You cannot maintain a healthy cardiovascular system or a healthy endocrine system or burn fat properly or make hormones properly in your brain if you are not having good, healthy lifestyle habits like eating well and exercising and sleeping. And those are all things that I talk about in my other videos. But it's really important to recognize that. So if you are somebody who is in that camp that you take your multivitamin or your other supplements to basically allow you to continue living a somewhat rough life, I would tell you that you're wrong. And it's time to get off that wagon, and it's time to make some other changes as well. Supplements are so named because they are supplemental to your lifestyle. They are meant to go in conjunction with healthy habits and enhance your life that way. So enhancement is totally fine, but it should be on top of the other things that you are doing already to just promote your health. Okay, so let's get into just some categories of natural supplements that are out there. I would say I'll divide this into 4 for the purpose of this video. This list is not exhaustive, but just a way to kind of think about these. So the first group is going to be your nutritive category of supplements. I would include your vitamins, your minerals, your essential fatty acids, your fibers, your amino acids, anything that you could find in food. Nutrient-based supplement. The reason people take these, there's a big thought out there that you should be able to get all of your nutrients from your food, in which case you shouldn't have to take these supplements. And I think that that's a really great idea, but I think it's very idealistic. There's a lot of research if you just go out and search on PubMed right now, and you will find that research is showing that the food we eat today is not the same as the food people used to eat 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It does not have the same nutrient density. You cannot eat a single orange today and get the same nutrients out of it that you could get from a single orange years before. You'd have to eat many, many more. And with this other concern of overconsumption and overeating, that can obviously be a problem. So there's a lot of reasons behind why our food is not as nutrient dense as it used to be. A lot of that can be tied up in agricultural practices and monocropping, and that is a whole conversation for another day. But I think if we look at the reality of where our food is at today, it is not as nutrient dense. And so for some people, these kind of multivitamin, multiminerals, fish oils, these types of things can be really helpful at enhancing that aspect of their life. It may not be for everybody, but it's there for some. All right, the next category would be botanicals. So these are your herbal medicines or plants and fungi that have been found to have therapeutic or medicinal properties. Botanical medicine has been practiced for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and I have another video just talking about botanical medicine and some of the different components of it, but there is a rich history on the use of botanical medicine throughout the world. And so this is certainly not a new medicine, and it's certainly not something that's going away anytime soon. So a couple differences between botanical medicine and pharmaceutical medicine. Why would you take a botanical versus a pharmaceutical? Pharmaceuticals, a lot of them actually do come from botanicals. If you think about aspirin, that's one of the most common examples. Aspirin comes from the bark of the white willow tree, Salix alba. But what's been done to it is that they found the constituent inside the willow bark that caused a decrease in inflammation and a decrease in pain, and they isolated that constituent and they made a lot of it. Okay, so they isolated it and then they consolidated it down into this little pill or concentrated it. And that is what a pharmaceutical is. And so they work really well and they work really fast and they have very strong effects. And so there's certainly a time and a place for our pharmaceuticals. I'm definitely not being totally disparaging about them, but they're not always necessary. So a couple differences between them. When you have your pharmaceutical, you have this isolated, concentrated constituent that's being used medicinally. In a botanical, you're using the whole plant or the entire part of a plant that's been deemed to be medicinal, and that part of the plant or that whole plant has hundreds of constituents in it. So what I mean by constituents is different phytochemicals or plant chemicals in the body that the plant uses to protect itself that then get passed on to us through herbal medicine so we can protect ourselves. Some examples of these are tannins. A lot of people think of tannins when they think of wine or green tea. Flavonoids and proanthocyanidins. These are super antioxidant. Carbohydrates are in plants. And make like kind of a gooey mucilaginous material, like if you think of aloe gel. So there's a bunch of different constituents out there, and when you take a plant, you take all of those together. And that has a couple different effects in the body. So the first effect is that when those work together, they actually enhance the strength of each other. So you don't just have one constituent that's doing one thing. You have that constituent, you have this constituent, you have a third constituent. When they're combined, they actually make each other work better. Some people know this as the Entourage Effect in herbal medicine. This has been called synergy for thousands of years. That's what that is. So it's this really beautiful effect of making each other more powerful. The other really cool thing about synergy is that one constituent can reduce or negate the potentially negative side effects of another constituent were it to be taken by itself. So when we think about taking aspirin, if you take that really long term, how that can be associated with stomach ulcers, when you take white willow bark or something in the herbal world that has a similar mechanism of action, that's much less likely to happen because the other constituents are going to mitigate that response. Some other really cool things about herbal medicine is that botanicals do not tolerize and they don't have dependency issues, which means that when you're taking it over time, you're not going to have to continually increase your dose to get the same effect. It doesn't start to wear off or become less effective. It's also not something that you become dependent on and cannot withdraw from. That doesn't happen in herbal medicine. It's actually something that's very safe to be taken in combination with other botanicals. It's, for the most part, pretty safe to be taken with a lot of pharmaceuticals. There are some exceptions to that, so I would definitely say if you are interested in using botanical medicine, you should be working with somebody who's trained in both herbal medicine and pharmaceutical medicine, like a naturopathic doctor. So you need to be a little bit careful about some things, but for the most part, it's much safer. It doesn't have the same kind of side effects. It doesn't have the same kind of dependency, withdrawal. It doesn't have any of that stuff. So it's really great for a lot of people, and it's very effective. It does work a little bit slower because it's not a concentrated constituent, but it is absolutely effective. So there's Botanicals. If we move over a little bit more, there's a section of supplements that I would call glandulars. So they're a little bit smaller subset of supplements, but these are products that literally come from the glandular tissue of either a cow or a pig. So it's important to know because some people who are vegan or have other dietary considerations that would keep them from wanting to take that really need to be aware of that. The glandulars are often from endocrine tissue, so your thyroid gland, your adrenal gland, your pancreas, those types of glands. And the reason that they're used, for lack of a better explanation, is that they're for people who maybe their endocrine organs aren't functioning as optimally as they could be, and so the glandular kind of comes in and lifts some of that weight for the body, takes some of the heavy lifting off of it and can assist with that. These are not things that I generally would consider using long term, but they can really help with people who are super depleted and can kind of get them back on track so that they have the energy or they have the function that they need to start doing things in their life that can promote these systems a little bit better. And then the last subset that I would like to mention today is kind of what I would consider my hormones and neurotransmitters. And this does not mean encapsulated estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. That's not how this works. But these are things that maybe promote the synthesis or the creation of these things in the body. So these can be really helpful for people who are having hormone irregulations, which can be everything from thyroid, if we go to endocrine there, or kind of shoot over into the ovaries or the testes, or if we're looking at the brain and the neurotransmitters. So this can be a subset of supplements that can be really, really helpful for people whose hormones are imbalanced. Maybe they're suffering from anxiety and depression that's coming from an imbalance of neurotransmitters in their brain. And so certain supplements like this, one of the most popular ones that I see on the market is 5-HTP. 5-HTP down the line, the way it's processed in your body becomes serotonin and melatonin. Serotonin is one of your happy hormones, and melatonin is obviously the hormone that regulates sleep and is a major antioxidant in the body, as well as a number of other things. So offering things to the body that kind of gives it the building blocks to make the hormones it needs to make correctly can be really helpful for some people. Sometimes this can be long term, sometimes it can be kind of short term until, once again, we can get some lifestyle stuff modified to help promote that aspect of their health. So all in all, this is just kind of a very brief overview. Like I said, there are certainly other aspects of supplements, but this is the first video in the series just to talk about categories. The next one we will be talking about the governance or the laws surrounding it, and then the third part will be about the consumer and how you can make sure that you are getting good products for you. All right, thanks so much. See you in the next video.